What it do? What it do? What it do? Mic check 1 2. Let's wait for. All I need is one person in here. Just let me know my mic is working. You know I got audio issues. I figured it out with my recent videos. Shout out to everybody who's been calling me out. Apparently, here I was thinking I was making it sound better, putting it on stereo. But when you just got a single input into a computer or just a regular old microphone like this one here, well, problem is putting it on stereo, it registers it as if there are two inputs, but there's not. There's only one input. And when it does that, it defaults to, I think, the left side only. I'm going to play this one in the background, and it's just a little background, oops. It's a little background. What's up, Josh? What's up, Kai? Can you guys hear me all right? I'm not going to be on here long today. I know I always say that, but today I'm not actually going to be long. Just wanted to check in. As long as you guys can hear me, I'll get started. Because as I was saying, I have mic issues, and once I set it to mono, then people could hear me. Come on, let me know if you can hear me. All right, I'm just going to start anyway. I'm going to assume you can hear me. Mic is super quiet. All right. There we go. Left is right. How about now? Can you hear me now? Mic check 1 2 1 2. You want to beef with the king? What is you gonna do when I come up on the scene with a two guns drew and you and your friends play a little 2-on-2? Hello. Well, appreciate that, Josh. The book sales, we're working on it. We're trying to get out there, and that's exactly what I want to talk about today. Can you hear me better? I got to turn it up a little more. Oh, it's turned up. Oh, all right. Sweet. Awesome. All right. So, you know what it is? It's the mic gain on the streaming thing. There we go. Now it might be too loud. Oh, all right. I'll turn it back down then. We good? We good in the hood? All right. If I got too loud now, then just tell me. So in the background here is a documentary filmed in, I think it was 1984, sometime in the 80s, and released in 93 by a Philadelphia filmmaker, and has recently made its way back around the social media sphere. There's all these clips, but it's about Wildwood, and a video I'm working on. It's titled "How Uber Ruined the Jersey Shore." Working title. Uses clips from this. So I figured I'd have it playing in the background. It's it's right after Memorial Day. Turn it down a little bit if it's a little bit too loud. All right. Should be good now. So, just giving the Jersey Shore vibes, summertime. This is my favorite time of the year, man. June is just like, Memorial Day is like the best weekend of the year. So anyway, what I wanted to talk about, Josh, you were asking me about book sales. So, this book that I wrote is, it's not like a course. It's not like, they're always like selling these like books that are trying to convert clients and stuff like that. It's not a book that's going to be taught in some classroom or anything like that. It's just like a good, entertaining short story collection book, right? And that said, as much as I love reading, I got books, I've moved my books, they're over there now. But I got a ton of books that I wish I could read, but, this day and age is so tough to find the time. But what does get read is listened to is audiobooks, right? And so what I've been doing, for those of you who've been following along, and this is what I wanted to talk about, this is the bad news, I committed myself to posting one of the audio chapters of these books every Sunday. And as I mentioned when I started, it was more, a way to hold myself accountable because, this is a beast of a project. For those in the Philadelphia area, there's a guy, Angelo Cataldi, I think is his name. He was a sports radio personality, just retired, and I heard him talking about I should take these off. I heard him talking about his audiobook. Well, he wrote a book, then he recorded the audiobook. And man, it was encouraging to hear him talking about how hard it was. And it took him 40 hours just to get through it. And he had a guy in the studio editing for him. So he had everybody setting everything else up. You know, I'm editing this myself. And man, just the time it takes is insane. And I don't know if you guys saw my last video I posted. It was Adult Story in the Uber. I think the title of the chapter in the actual book is Sex in the Uber. You know, everybody always asks, like, sex in the Uber, what's the story? Does it happen? Yada, yada. Needless to say, YouTube might not be the best platform for that. And on top of that, you know, that's kind of the racier story I've shared on YouTube. But this book, I've gotten a few little bits of feedback about how surprising some of the stories were, which I think for anyone driving Uber or anyone that has driven Uber, they wouldn't be surprised, just because, man, the ratchetness you see, you know, with a late night clientele doing drugs and drinking, you know, there's nothing's off limits, right? But for those of you who don't drive Uber, and maybe they know me from the puppy video or grandma video. Geez, if they know me from the grandma videos, they'll be really surprised. Or you know, even like the stories that, or the videos that the rides that I'm willing to share and people are comfortable with sharing on my channel. You know, they're not going to be the ones in the book, so to speak, which is, you know, part of the reason I wanted to write the book, because, you know, it's a better medium to share stories like that. So long story long, I just know that if I share all the stories on YouTube, it's gonna hurt my channel. I mean, forget being demonetized. It's not like I expect these videos to go super viral anyway. They're not really, you know, they're like a podcast basically on YouTube. But I'm getting the impression that it's hurting my channel views wise, because it's, you know, just the algorithm isn't liking it, so to speak. And, you know, I kind of expected that. But that said, I just, you know, I don't want to keep shooting myself in the foot every time I post it. And that's where I get in between a rock and a hard place here, because something that is very important to me as a creator is in 2024 is just keeping my content free. I messed around with Patreon for like a month and I did not like it. And just, you know, the way I think about it is like, there's two sides of this. One, you know, first and foremost, from my perspective, I'm like, all right, every time I post something, I'm competing with all other available content, so to speak, competing for your attention. There's a reason you'll click my video versus theirs, or listen to my audio book versus someone else. And like, you know, if I'm going to charge for something as opposed, and then there's all this other content that's for free, like why would anybody, I would encourage you not to pay, basically. And that goes to the other side of that coin, that I would say, like, you know, I want to reach people like me, you know, I want to reach people that, you know, I think would enjoy this kind of stuff, because I enjoy it. And I think about me, and I honestly, I think about, like, you know, I always talk about, I used to teach, you know, I would love, like, my students to be able to, you know, I would love to reach my students, you know. Personally, I'm kind of rambling. I'm a little all over the place here, but, like, you know, I learned growing up through stories and through movies and through books and stuff like that. And I'm just thinking, like, dude, if I charge this, the kind of people I would want to reach are the people like me, and the people like me, aka me personally, would never freaking pay. You know, I wouldn't pay $4 for an audiobook. I wouldn't pay, you know, whatever it is, you know what I mean? When there's free content out there, like, you know, I'm a 17-year-old kid. I'm not, you know, whatever it is, like, why would I pay, right? So I'm rambling. But the point I'm trying to get is, and I know people always tell me it's a different day and age, and people, you know, pay for Patreon. They like to support creators, and I get that. But in my head, I'm like, dude, why can't, like, there's so many more people out there more deserving of the money. And I'm not saying this to try to be, like, you know, humble or anything like that, because there is content down the road that I think is very conducive to people paying. And on that note, man, I'm all over the place. You know, my mind just gets going, man. But recently, so part of the reason I thought about this is because recently there's been quite a few super chats and quite a few Venmos. I don't even know how people found my Venmo, but I've gotten a few Venmos of people who've been like, great video. And that's like super cool. And I don't know how, I can't express how encouraging it is to see that. So first of all, thank you very much. Second of all, I want to let you know that like I'm going to use that money for this channel, obviously. And, you know, part of what I want to do with that is stuff down the road where I just think, you know, I can take that money and put it into a video that's, you know, going to help drivers and can be fun to use with riders and stuff like that. But so what I'm saying is thank you very much for the super chats, donations, whatever it is. I don't even know what to call them. But all that said, that got me thinking like, hey, if people can and want to pay, like that's super cool and it's super helpful. I mean, I wrote this book to keep this channel going because, as you know, a lot of my videos get demonetized. But how do I say it? So like, I know for a lot of people, they like Patreon. So when Patreon called me, like they have these customer service reps or whatever, like they try to get creators on their platform, right? And so the people I talked to at Patreon were big on like, hey, it doesn't really matter. When they were trying to get me to join, they were like, it doesn't really matter what you put on Patreon. People like having this exclusive access. People like having this exclusive content that other people can't see. And that's cool, and I get that. But I like to think that anyone who follows along the Driver Ed channel is rooting for everybody, not just you know, people in the in crowd or people in this exclusive crowd or people that can afford to, you know, do Patreon. Because at the end of the day, I mean, shit, I got involved in Uber because I was flat broke. You know what I mean? And so I just feel, especially with this channel, if I were to exclude people on the basis of money, that's like literally antithetical of like the whole reason I got into this business in the first place. You know what I mean? And so I would like to think that the people who are, you know, comfortable enough to send some money towards this channel are happy that by doing that, it allows other people to access the content for free, you know, to keep the content going, because it's something that I don't want to, you know, say something, the internet's undefeated and, you know, 10 years from now I'll say this and I'll feel like such a sellout, but like something that right now, the way things are, you know, if I could tell my future self something and he looks back, I would hope that he's ashamed if I ever change that, you know, the majority of my content at least isn't free. But one of my biggest things is I want to keep my content free. Point I'm trying to get at is I want to finish this audiobook. I'll list it as an audiobook for, I don't know, whatever audiobooks go for, $2.95, $3.95, $4.95, whatever, I don't know. Like I said, I don't buy content. I only use free. I do free. You know, like Little Dicky, save that money. I'll sign up for the new account, you know, and do the 30-day trial. So whatever audiobooks is, I'll list that. But then, and I'll list that as a full book. They're 25 chapters with an intro and an epilogue. But then afterwards, they're standalone chapters, they're standalone stories. So what I want to do after that is just release them one by one, maybe once a week, maybe once every other week on Spotify. And my plan is, one, then people can still access it for free. And two, you know, maybe then I can get sponsorships, build up some momentum or stuff like that. That way, you know, there are a few stories in here that they deserve a couple 100,000 listens. I mean, if you read the book, yeah, I'm not being boastful here. There's some things that happened in Uber that were just like out of this world, right? And so, you know, that's my thinking, and then hopefully I can build up momentum and get some sponsorships and, you know, keep this channel going while keeping the content free. So that's my plan. So the good news is, the content's going to stay free, and it's going to get out there. It just might take a while. The bad news is the Sunday stories that I've been posting, they just got to stop, because for anyone who has read my book, there's just a lot of topics that are just too real for YouTube. It's just, you know, there's just no other way about it. And yeah, if you've driven Uber, I'm sure you will understand. And if you've gotten a copy of the book, I'm sure you'll understand. And then, you know, if not, when you do listen on Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts, then yeah, then you'll understand. Oh, and the other thing, so 2 or 3, I guess at this point, maybe 4, maybe 5. I don't know. I haven't been counting. I just know I'm talking a lot. I do also hope to get momentum because I think a lot of these will work really well as like animated shorts. And I've been looking into that, but man, animation is so expensive. I'm like almost like about I was I could have gone down to UArts here in Philly and tried to find an animator, but it just like randomly closed. I don't know if you guys have seen that or been following that, but yeah. So if I find an animator, there's some of them, and so this recent story that I was going to post for those familiar with the book. Basically, I was called, these, for some reason, these lives always get demonetized. I don't even know why. So I'll just say it. Screw it. But, if you talk about race, people, YouTube, it's like a signal, like demonetized. And just so you guys know, I got the communications mind going. No advertiser wants to be attached to race. So you could be like talking about the most positive thing about race, but like just no advertiser wants to be attached to that at all. I guess because of the connotation it connects with most people, and all people watching the advertisement are potential buyers, and they don't want to be associated. So you mention race, and it's a wrap. But anyway, so in this story that I was going to post today, and, because of things that have been said and happening with past videos that I posted, I'm like, all right, dude, if I couldn't even share this, I definitely can't share the story. But I'm called racist by a passenger in this story. And for those of you who have read the book, because that happens a couple times. But this is the story with, the bowling ball, the woman, and she's chasing my car up the hill. So for those familiar with the story, even if you're not, I mean, think about that. Like, think of a short, fat woman chasing my car up a hill. Just imagine that in an animation. I mean, that would fucking crush it. And, that'd be awesome. Sorry, excuse my language. I'm trying to curse a little less. But anyway, yeah, so get the momentum on the Spotify, get some sponsorships, and then maybe I start a separate channel where, I can do these stories that are animated, and not only is it still free, but, a little more visual, and that'd be cool. So yeah, that's, oh, and one more thing I wanted to add, part of this is going into it. So as some of you know that have been following along, especially hardcore, you follow along the Cheesesteak With podcast. You guys know I had a daughter a year and a half ago, little baby Juanita, and I'm actually expecting another one coming up soon. So a couple weeks. So that's another reason where it's like, just with everything going on, I don't want to leave people hanging expecting the Sunday stories and then they're not there. And at the same time, I got a lot of other content. I'm actually working with an editor now, so if my videos start to suck, it's his fault. No, I'm kidding. But it's a cool process. So I still have a lot of content coming out, and that said, I want to make the audiobook production focus on becoming an audiobook, and not all the videos and stuff like that, and mainly because it's crushing my channel when I do that. So yeah, I will make a playlist for all the stories that are there, and then when it's out, I'll have to hype it up a little bit, and I'll let you guys know. But stay tuned. And it's a shame because the people who do listen to those videos, man, they love it. And at the same time, like, I hope if you have watched the videos, all those comments, that's like, it's what's encouraging me and like reminding me that, hey, I got something here. Like, don't blow it. So I'll just make sure that I got to package it right. It's something that's as I've mentioned before. I'm very comfortable, like most creators. We talked about this recently. Like, I got into YouTube because I like creating. Me personally, I love writing. This whole like packaging and branding and marketing yourself, all that crap makes me like, ugh, gross. But I'm learning. It's part of the game. So this is part of me learning and doing. All right, so that's my spiel. I'm trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to cover. A lot of cool content coming up. Oh, and I got this Wildwood background, so there's going to be clips of this in an upcoming video. And like I said, I'm not going to be on here long. Let me catch up with the chat, then I'll jet. But before I jet, I will show perhaps the greatest clip. This is the clip that I saw on social media that turned me on to this documentary in the first place. And man, it's just so good, especially if you guys have, if you're from the Jersey Shore. All right, let me catch up on the chat. But, oh, by the way, and book also available at eddiepdoyle.com. It's a good read. What's up, guys? A little bit blown at my bad, man. This mic. What's up? What's up, Lars Lanes? Furthest you've been east is Boston. That's actually further east. I think. I gotta think that's a little further. Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, Boston's further east. It's just, different part of you. That's way northeast. You flew over Philly. Phoenix, Arizona, all the way to Tacoma. Jesus was here. That's a funny name. I've thought about live stream Uber rides. Something that I just did. I'm doing this earnings project, and I think it'd be cool. I was actually going to put this video onto one of these other videos, but again, I can't share these stories without. And then I thought about editing stories. There have been parts of like the craziest night ever. I make a bunch of jokes that I think I talked about in the beginning. Like you can't. There's these certain protective groups of people that they don't let you joke about. And in my mind, like that's the most disrespectful thing. It's like, what? It's like making them less than, I don't know. I talked about it in the video. No need to revisit that. But, whoa, look at that haircut, man. The cool thing is about like content like this, I think about this with my videos, like that guy is somewhere, he's, if this was the 80s, shoot, that guy's like in his 60s now, and that's something cool to look back on. I think that's probably the problem with content now. Kids film things. Yeah, I've noticed this in the past couple of years in my Uber. When I first started, people were all excited about getting on the channel, but now you mention you have a dash camera. You mention, oh, don't do that. Oh, it's so scary. Everybody cares about me and something can happen. Oh, nope, nobody cares. But something that I think is lost is like, all right, you're 20 years old, you're in college, you're, on some YouTube, you're on, man, try to that 10 of it. You're on some Uber YouTube channel and you think like somebody's going to care about that in 3 years or 5 years when you're trying to get a job. And it's like, dude, as long as you're not like, a total jerk trying to fight someone or dropping the N-bomb, then like nobody cares. And honestly, they probably wouldn't even care then. People move on, But the sad thing about people like getting all like worried about stuff like that is like, when you grow up, whenever that is for you, you realize that nobody actually cares. And like, for that guy with the crazy hair, like, he gets to show his grandkids that like, oh, you think I'm a weirdo? Like I was actually, I don't know if you'd call that cool, but I was that, you think grandpa's a square, like that was me back in the day. And I don't know, maybe that was cool then, maybe it wasn't, but regardless, you wouldn't expect grandpa to have a cut like that. All right, that's my spiel. I wish we had access to record my ride feature. Amen to that, Sam. For those that don't know what he's talking about, Russ. Yeah, the riders, the teenage riders can record us, but we don't have access to that. That seems a little weird, but again, I have my own dash camera. I encourage everyone to have their own dash camera, so do that. Eddie Too Real for YouTube Doyle. That makes me think of, and I thought of this when I was talking about this stuff. There's that, I think it's Dave Chappelle. He has this sketch where it's like keeping it real, gone wrong. It's like, all these guys like, or he was keeping it real and he ends up either getting beat up or shot or something. And like, I literally thought of it like, all right, man, am I going to do the artist thing? Am I going to stick it to YouTube? Am I going to keep it real? And I'm going to just post it anyway and just shoot myself in the foot? And I honestly thought of that sketch and I'm like, whoa, maybe I should play the game a little bit. Maybe, there's no need to cut my nose to spite my face, just to prove something to nobody, AI, what are you talking about? I don't know what I was talking about. How I get Taylor Swift off my Pandora. I handled my iPhone with some drunk chicks last night. Oh, that's funny. Dude, and I talk about that in the book, man. We live this life based on the algorithm. So you give your phone to some drunk chicks, they play a couple Taylor Swift songs, and next thing you know, the algorithm thinks you like Taylor Swift. Something, man, this is what always happens, man. I got to get out here, but this is wild. Listen to this. I saw a video about this. A girl sent her boyfriend some video, and I forget what it was. It was some relationship thing, say a wife complaining about the husband or something like that, right? And they looked at the comments, and the girls' comments were all championing the wife, and then the dude's comments. Oh no, you know what it was? It was about golf, and it was about like guys taking too long on the golf course. And on the girls' phone, all the comments were about, yeah, guys are ridiculous. They took way too long. And then on the guy's phone, the same video sent from the same person, all the comments were like, yeah, the woman's so obnoxious. How fast do you think you can go? And at first I'm like, all right, is this real? I'm always questioning everything. But then the very next day I was on TikTok, and in the comment section, there was a thumb up or thumbs down and a question from TikTok saying, how do you feel about these comments? And it was a video that was like, I forget what the video was, but it was like a divisive video. It's like there was obviously people that would feel it was polarizing, and like I realized that was TikTok asking me if they were showing me the right comments, and if I disliked them, they would show me the comments that were of the other position. It's like, man, we are get off the phones, man. I'm like, oh man, all right, it's crazy. Just consider that, man. Just think about that. I was just saying. What's up, Jim from Philly? Surprised I've never seen you in Uber. Well, it's always tomorrow. Got to brand yourself. That's what I'm trying. And, like to say that out loud, like, I hate that. Like that's why all these people in Hollywood go nuts, because they're not real people. They brand themselves. And it's like, and I'm not acting like I'm a complete fool. Like, when I have my grandmother's TikTok, there are certain ways that there's certain jokes I would make on that I wouldn't make here, and vice versa. But, the idea of branding yourself, like, I know a lot of people talk about that with like the kids these days. It's like they think they got to brand themselves, and they think they have a following. They think people care about them. And it's like, come on, Bronx Tale, baby. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Thanks for hitting that like button, K Green. Uber Cash Cab. I tried that, and I don't have that Mr. Beast money. And so, again, going back to competing, when I'm sitting there doing $50 for a cash cab on YouTube, it's like, it's how's that going to compete when Mr. Beast is giving someone $100 million or $10,000 just to keep their hand on a car. Jersey boy in the building. Yeah, yeah, right. Exactly. And dude, I mean, case in point, this is why you haven't seen it, because why would YouTube recommend that unless it's, as it's just not going to win, Oh, AI for animations? Yeah. So the thing is, it's a learning curve. I'd honestly rather pay someone to do it. And the tough thing about animations, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's very hard to have a consistent character, right? Like, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but everyone I talk to, the hardest part about AI animations right now is like every time it generates something new. So, that's just, I mean, if someone can do AI animations, I would gladly pay someone to do that. And it'd be much cheaper than a typical graphic designer. Graphic designers charge like $1,500 a minute. And that's like not even high end. That's for like, not claymation. What do they call it? Stop motion, like South Park. You know how it's not like Toy Story. South Park is just like, it's just like $1,500 a minute. So if I'm making a 10-minute video, that's $15,000. You know how many views I'd have to make that $15,000 back? That's insane. All right. Oh, Russ, I should have read the next quote before I went off. Can keep consistent characters with some of the AI video apps now. Probably more realistic a year from now. That's the impression I'm getting, and I'm thinking in time. Yeah. I agree, but I also think that in like a year it will be much easier. And like I said, I also see that the people that are grinding on those apps or websites, now will a year from now be even better. So I think even a year from now it'll make more sense just to you know get somebody to do it, just because it'll be better than me. But yeah. AI is the future. I'm with you, man. Some of my videos, I don't know if anyone picked up on it, but I dropped it in the Adobe Podcast Enhancer. I talked about it in one of my videos, and man, it's amazing how much better you sound. I am not Italian, Irish and Armenian, rare combination. All right. All right. Well, that's all I got. Thanks for hanging out. Sorry if I know there are so many of you just waiting for another chapter. No, for real. I know there was a few people, and that is so cool. I mean, it's so cool that those videos are basically just dash cam footage and me telling a story, and they're getting like a couple thousand views, which is like, I don't know, it's wild. It's wild to think that I could write a book and you guys, a couple thousand people listen, so that's pretty cool. Really appreciate it. So that said, what's gotten more than a couple thousand views, what's gotten tens of hundreds of thousand views, is this iconic Wildwood documentary. And I have a video coming out about the Jersey Shore, and I'm going to include a few clips in this. At the end, this clip I'm going to show you it's going to get tagged at the end, but it's just perhaps the best clip of the Jersey Shore ever.
She's still in the hospital now. This happened like a week ago.
These accents, man.
We were walking down the boardwalk. She sprayed me in the eyes with mace. So.
Hold on.
I haven't been in a fight for a while, and because my boyfriend won't let me fight, I used to fight once a week, maybe.
That's not it. Hold on.
I get in trouble a lot.
Yeah, I used to get suspended all the time.
I
enjoyed doing it, though.
Well, this one lady came up to me tonight, and I gave her change.
Can you guys hear that all right?
Spinning. She put her money down, and when it stopped, I just wiped the board, and I was over there, and she started freaking out on me because I took her money. But the wheel stopped, so I take her money. Said she was gonna smack me, and I was a little smart ass. So I got smart with her back. Then she wanted to talk to my manager.
Yeah, here we go.
So I brought him over.
Yeah, you can come up on the boardwalk and just meet somebody like that, in a split second. And, it can turn into a serious relationship, like me and Janet. Because,
It's different.
I met her a couple of weeks ago, but we hooked up tonight together, and, I'm probably going to be with her for the rest of the summer.
It's different every night.
You never know what's going to happen.
It's different. You can stay together forever, or it's different. And
Look at his face.
whatever happens, happens. But it's different every night. And you meet new people. It's the summer. And
It's different.
I think
It's different. It's different every night. Oh my god, I love that clip. Their accents, man, they're amazing. All right, guys. Whoa, way too loud now. Woo. All right, that's better. Guys, thanks for hanging out. I got a shake and bake. A lot of new content coming out. Should have 2 or 3 videos up this week at least. All right, later. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Oh, and I'll put that link, this clip, this Wildwood video in the description. It's worth the watch, especially if you're in the Philly area. The accents alone, I could just, man, I'll play it at night to fall asleep. It's just so comforting. All right, later. Where are we at? Thanks for hanging out, guys.